Hello again team, it's Jess or JashiiCorrin and welcome back for another video. Today I'm going to be setting up a sleep log in my journal. I haven't actually used one of these before, but I'm always really taken with the pictures of them that I see online, so I figured it was a good time for me to try it for myself. I'm actually combining this one with what I'm calling a school log as well, so tracking both when I'm sleeping and when I'm at school. On the left-hand page, I'll have the tracker, and then on the right-hand page, I'm just writing some brief notes about how to get better sleep and why sleep is important. Can't say that I really have used that reference very much so far, and it certainly hasn't changed any of my habits around getting better sleep, but I thought it was a nice addition to the page. In terms of the setup of today's layout, this took about 30 minutes from first touch of the pen to final erasings, but as usual, that doesn't include the penciling in, which took a fair amount of time because I had to look up all the information for that reference page. If you were interested in the references that I used to get that information from, they are linked in the description box below. As you can see, I'm continuing with my theme for September by using the same borders that I've been using on all my pages and the same colour palette, with the pinks, the green tones, and my brown pen. It's been really interesting using a brown pen to do all of my writing for this month. I'm very much the kind of person who always tends to go for black, but the brown has worked really well with this theme so far. In terms of the questions that were left on last week's Plan With Me, our first one comes from Aria, who asked, "My question is, are you planning on doing an Avatar The Last Airbender theme in your bujo?" Planning to is probably a pretty strong term, but I would like to do one day. Avatar The Last Airbender is awesome, and I would love to do that as a theme. I just want to make sure that I'm in a position to really do it justice. So it's certainly a theme I'd like to do, but I don't have any immediate plans to put it in my journal just yet. Kathleen asked, "My question is, will you be doing a 21 things in 2021, or was this spread just a fad for 2020? Well, I did a 19 things before 2019 spread back in 2018. And then I obviously have my 20 in 2020 as well, so I think I'll do one for 2021. But I'm not too sure yet because I might want to do 30 things before I'm 30 because I turn 30 next year. So there will be a list of things, I'm just not really sure on the number yet." Our next question comes from Jennifer, who asked, "Do you have any wedding colours in mind? When you mentioned the colour combos you liked, I wonder if any you stated were contenders for your wedding. Also, what subject is your all-time favourite to teach and why?" So starting with the last one first, my favourite subject to teach is chemistry, and my favourite topic of that is certainly structure, bonding and energy changes, because it kind of looks at things on an atomic level and how the properties that we see and experience are dictated by those atomic principles. I'm also really keen on teaching genetics, even though I'm not necessarily a biology teacher, just because I think genetics is awesome. And I do enjoy the animal adaptations unit that I'm teaching my year 8s at the moment. In terms of wedding colours, that is hotly contested at the moment. Vogel and I are having some disagreements on what we might want to use. Over on my personal Pinterest, I do have a board dedicated to colour palettes though. It is secret, so nobody can see it. So the ones we're kind of playing around with at the moment are like greens and pinks, like I have this month. Also teal and copper or black and gold. But I think I'm more of a fan of black and gold than Vogel is. So we were kind of compromising and thinking like black, gold, and green, but we haven't really gotten anywhere on that. Our next question came from Tracy, who asked, "How did you work out the spacing for this design? It's gorgeous." So that one's referring to the 20 in 2020 spread from last week. And honestly, figuring out the spacing for that was such a mission. Once I decided that I wanted 2 main rings of circles though, I tried to put 5 on each side of each ring, so 5 on the left, 5 on the right for each ring. But then when it came to the outer ring, I couldn't really get that to work. So I did 4 on that outer ring for each side, so putting them between the 5 on the inner ring, and then had 1 in between the middle 2 of that outer ring. That's probably really badly explained. But really, it kind of just came down to guess and check. Like roughly sketching out where I wanted them and then erasing and tweaking until I got them into positions that I was happy with. The easiest ones to place were on the horizontal though, so the ones that come directly out from the left and directly out from the right of that middle circle part. From there I just tried to place the other ones so that they were evenly spaced. Again, just using that guess and check method. Our next question comes from Kelly, who asked, are you still getting your little walks in? Well, yeah, that probably tells you as much as you need to know about that one. Not so much. Being active and getting moving is certainly something that I should be focusing on for the rest of the year. Whether that happens is a completely different question. It's really something that I do have to do. I just end up prioritizing other things. Our next question came from Marmonial, who asked, what has been your least favourite spread you've done, this year or others? Well, I had to go and flip through some of my older journals to answer this question. Most of the spreads that I've made this year I have liked, or I have at least not disliked. But I did find one in particular that I did not like, to the extent where I didn't like it enough to not even put a picture of it on my Instagram, and I put pictures of pretty much all my spreads on my Instagram, or at least I used to. So here we have week 29 from 2019, the week that I tried to use stickers. Ugh, I do not like this spread at all. Originally I tried to do something else and I ended up placing stickers in the wrong place and it just did not work out. So I had to flip the page and start again, but I'd then used all the stickers I was going to be using and I couldn't get them off the page, so I had to go with something else, and yeah, needless to say, I do not like this. I still used it, kind of. Thankfully it was a week where I was in Melbourne, so I didn't have an awful lot to write down, but the stickers I selected meant that the spaces for writing in all the things I needed to do for each day were inconsistently sized. I didn't like the way the colours worked together. Yeah, just not a good time. I have nothing against stickers, it was just I did not use them successfully that week. As always, thank you to all of our inquirers from last week. If you guys have a question you want me to answer on next week's plan with me, do please leave them in the comments below. And having a look at what that spread looks like now, you can see my sleep is indicated here in green, and I have my school time indicated in pink. I probably should have thought ahead a little bit on this one, because I knew that parent-teacher interviews were coming up this month, and that means I had to be at school till about 6:45. I probably could have moved this timeline at the top forward an hour, so instead of starting at 9 PM, starting at 10 PM instead. But I have been enjoying filling this one in, and I think it's kind of interesting just to see how the general patterns in a week change. Although I haven't been referencing this page a lot, I do still feel like it's a nice reminder when I do come back and read it. And following that, my question for you guys this week, what is your biggest barrier to getting better sleep? For me, it's probably the fact that I stay on computer screens until quite late in the evening, and I'm a little bit addicted to Coke Zero. So my issues would be around lighting and caffeine. Thank you for watching, team. If you liked today's video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up. If you wanted to see more from me, feel free to check out one of my other videos, and if you hadn't already, feel free to subscribe as well. Until next time, bye!